When you think of an apple, who comes to your mind? Adam and Eve? Steve Jobs? Of course, these figures might come to the minds of many. However, probably for many, the last wizard to have lived, Sir Isaac Newton, also comes to mind. Yes, everyone has heard a lot about Newton, but how well do we really know Newton? I'm not talking about his accomplishments. What kind of person was Newton in his daily life? Now, let's take a look at the story of this intriguing scientist who was known for being as successful and intelligent as he was irritable, jealous, and obsessive. Before we begin, if you've noticed, we're a new channel. You can motivate us by subscribing to the channel, and you can boast to your friends that you subscribed early when the channel reaches billions of subscribers. Liking this video can also support us to beat the algorithm. Thanks in advance. To understand Newton, we should first understand his childhood and youth. He was born in 1643 in the village of Woolsthorpe in England. He took his name from his father, who died shortly before his birth. Even as a small child, it was evident that he was different from other children. To understand how things worked, he often disassembled and reassembled mechanical toys and tools. After his father's death, his mother remarried when Newton was only 3 years old, leaving him with his grandmother. This abandonment deeply affected Newton, leading to a lifelong resentment, especially towards his stepfather. When he attended King's School in Grantham, he demonstrated excellent performance in mathematics and science, foreshadowing the birth of someone who would make significant contributions to the scientific world. In 1661, at the age of 18, he enrolled at Trinity College, Cambridge. During his years at Cambridge, Newton immersed himself in intense academic efforts, exploring a range of subjects, including mathematics, physics, astronomy, and philosophy. He quickly gained fame as an exceptional student and deep thinker, admired by professors and peers alike. One of Newton's significant achievements during his years at Cambridge was the development of calculus. We'll come back to this. Due to the bubonic plague outbreak in London in 1665, Trinity College closed, and Newton had to return to his family's farm. However, a falling apple here was about to change the world. Anyway, I'm sure you can hear the rest of the story from various sources. Today, unlike other channels, we'll discuss lesser-known aspects of Newton's life. Newton had an introverted and sensitive personality. When challenged, he wouldn't stop until he destroyed the challenger. He couldn't handle criticism and was excessively competitive. These traits led to years of rivalry, particularly with Hooke and Leibniz. For example, Newton initially had a strong collaboration with Robert Hooke, especially in the field of optics. The initial rift between them began when Hooke harshly criticized Newton's one article on light. Newton never forgot this criticism. The publication of Principia in 1687 escalated things. Hooke claimed that the book didn't acknowledge his contributions and demanded more references. Newton, infuriated, wanted Hooke erased from history. The only known portrait of Hooke was destroyed when Newton became the head of the Royal Society. As a result, we don't exactly know how Robert Hooke, who made significant contributions in various fields, looked. His interactions with Leibniz were not much different. As mentioned earlier, Hooke strongly criticized Newton's one article on light, so Newton hesitated to publish subsequent articles. Consequently, when Newton invented calculus, he waited a while before announcing it to the world. In 1684, Leibniz independently declared his invention of calculus. Newton waited until the 1690s to announce his invention. Newton believed that Leibniz stole his calculus. The Royal Society, after examining both works, decided that Newton was the father of calculus. Leibniz's defense was not even heard. Interestingly, this review was conducted after Newton had already risen to a high position in the Royal Society. In summary, when Newton saw someone as a rival, he wouldn't stop until he annihilated him. He was incredibly ambitious. However, Newton's quirks didn't end there. Despite being one of the greatest scientists of our time, he believed in many pseudosciences considered absurd today, such as astrology, numerology, and alchemy. We know Newton as a mathematician and physicist, but only about 11% of his works were related to science. The rest, besides revolutionizing physics, amounted to almost nothing. At the heart of alchemy lies the Philosophy Stone, which you might have heard of before. The Philosophy Stone is believed to be a magical stone that grants its owner the power to control time and can transmute base elements into valuable ones. While attempting to find the Philosophy Stone, Newton conducted numerous unsuccessful experiments with toxic elements. It is thought that he suffered from mercury or lead poisoning during these experiments. At one point, he started experiencing severe mental issues and was on the brink of death. If he hadn't been visited by astronomer Halley in 1684, Newton could have been forgotten in the dusty pages of history. Halley asked Newton why the orbits of planets were elliptical instead of circular. This question reignited Newton's interest in science. We might owe everything to Halley. Besides, Newton was very interested in numerology. For those unfamiliar, numerology is a pseudoscience claiming that numbers and mathematical symbols can influence human life and the universe. Based on his numerological studies of the Bible, Newton concluded that the apocalypse would happen in 2060, and on that date, Jesus Christ would descend to earth and rule a global empire of peace. We don't have much time left until 2060. We'll see if he is right. Putting all this aside, Newton's most obsessive subject was religion. Newton was a profoundly religious man, viewing the laws of the universe as God's way of governing it. Understanding the workings of the universe, to him, meant understanding God. Therefore, he spent his days reading different translations of the Bible and speculating on the differences between these translations. For instance, he didn't believe in the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, which lies at the heart of Christianity. According to him, God had only one form, and the Trinity was a lie fabricated by the devil. However, he always had to keep these ideas secret. Ironically, he worked literally at Trinity College, and his ideas were unacceptable for England at that time. Additionally, Newton looked down on atheism. For him, atheism was a disgusting and unacceptable perversion. Since he saw God in the laws of the universe, rejecting God was rejecting the universe. Newton's quest to understand the universe was, in a way, a quest to understand God. Despite all I've said, Newton made many contributions to science and is remembered as one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. Yet, due to his fascinating life, he'll always be remembered not as the first of the Age of Reason, but as the last of the magicians. See you until the next video.